Welcome to the Jennifer J. Hammond Podcast. Jennifer is a licensed realtor, educator, speaker, and best-selling author. Jennifer's goal is to help you find your yay in every day. Jennifer is grateful for the opportunity to educate, empower, and inspire you with powerful conversations, insights, and new viewpoints. Here's your host, Jennifer J. Hammond.
I'm here with a very special guest. I'm so excited. There's so many things to tell you about her. I am not going to read any kind of bio. I want you to hear it from her. She is Naleighna Kai. And you see her if you're watching this in one of the many platforms that we have where you can see how beautiful she is. And she has all of these incredible best-selling books behind her. So number one, we know she's a book girl or book lady or however you want to say. She's the book expert and she really knows. And she's also a book coach. So first of all, welcome to the Jennifer J. Hammond Show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Good morning. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are.
Wherever you are, whenever you're listening, because this goes out on all sorts of platforms. So you may be just hearing our voices or you may be seeing us. So if you're just hearing our voices, know that you can go to YouTube. There's so many platforms where you can see us now. So first of all, let's talk about, you have all of these amazing books. Tell us, what made you start writing?
So do you want the truth or you want the version that will let us remain friends?
I want the truth. I can handle the truth. I can handle the truth, even if it means we're not going to remain friends.
Ooh, no, I'm just joking. So what had happened was I met this guy over the internet way back in the day when Microsoft had the gaming networks where you played Hearts and Bidwits and all of those different games online, and you met all of these wonderful people. Well, we started off in the game room, then we went to a private room, and he would start sending me poetry. Then he sent me erotic poetry. Then he sent me 2 paragraphs of all these wonderful, wicked things he wanted to do to me.
Oh!
Yes. And then I sent him about 10 pages, written pages back of techniques he needed to brush up on and things he needed to learn. And it was those pages that I pinned to him over the internet that became part of my first book. However, during the process, I found it to be very therapeutic. And my sexual abuse counselor asked me to continue to write. I wrote 6 novels over a 2-year period, and it was a healing process for me. So that's how I began writing. And he was the author. I wasn't. He's never published. And I went on from there.
Well, so now I'm going to have to ask, because I know this is a subject where there's so many people out here that might be listening right now and have actually experienced sexual abuse. Can you talk about how did you end up? First of all, I mean, I hate to go deep in that.
I don't mind. This is what these interviews are for. I'm very open when it comes to all of that. So please don't feel that there's any questions that is off limits. And if it is, I'll tell you none of your business.
Okay. Fair enough. I like the game rule. I like the ground rules. We got them set now. So what happened to you? What was the sexual abuse that happened?
Well, let me give some context. I was adopted by my biological mother. Let me say that again. I was adopted by my biological mother.
Okay.
My mother signed into the hospital when I was born. She signed in as her sister, and she gave me away to her sister when I was born. And my aunt raised me for the first 18 months of my life. And she ended up killing the man who killed her husband. And she ended up in prison. And I landed back where my biological mother never wanted me to be. So let me tell, well, it's a lot to unpack. Hold on.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, I can't believe you said you can rattle that all off that quickly. Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, don't have a lot of time. So, but also too, I don't try to glamorize or lengthen this part of things. So anyway, because I swallowed some type of disinfectant, I was being watched by my brother and sister, and I got a hold of something. I ended up in the hospital. Mm-hmm. And in order to get medical care for me, my biological mother had to go before the judge and tell what she had done. And I ended up having to be adopted by my biological mother so that she could get medical care. Now, imagine the physical abuse was exponential. It was exponential. So at one point, I ran away to the safety of my father. I did not know, because my mother kept the secret of what he had done to her. I didn't know that that wasn't a safe place. And just suffice it to say that my father did not respect my right to say no. And my uncle did not respect my right to say no. So that is the beginning and the origins of my life. And a lot of my healing happened around writing what happened to me, being able to tell. I didn't tell anyone until I was 26, what happened when I was 14. So it became a healing process. So every book that I write has a splinter of my soul in there, and I work out a particular issue that helps me to heal. And it's helped a lot of women too.
Oh my gosh, that really touches my heart. And partly, and I think there are so many women out there that would probably say the same thing to you, is that thank you for being brave enough to talk about it, but thank you for also healing yourself, because ironically, what most people probably don't realize is that by you healing yourself, you're also healing so many others of us as well. And I say us because there was sexual abuse that I never talk about in my childhood. And it's funny because I just recently was figuring out that it might be time to share some of those, weirdly enough, similar in some respects to what your story is. There's a couple of the culprits that are no longer walking this planet because they are dead. And I say a couple because there wasn't just one terrible incident. And I wish it was just one. It's just, and that's also partly, I think.
I wish it was none.
Yeah, I wish it was none.
But you have to do the forgiveness work as well. And that became part of it too, because of course the forgiveness is for you, even though he's no longer here. Karma, I was able to see one of my people, my father, his demise was very much ugly and on the same length of what he did to me that summer. So he left this world in increments. It was really interesting to see, but what they did stays behind and it affects us on a daily basis. So when we get through, we'll talk offline at some point so that I can give you some of the forgiveness techniques that my counselor, who's also my best friend now, actually, still in contact. Oh yeah, she started off as my boss. She was my boss. We worked at a social service agency. And when she heard what happened to me, she took me out to lunch one day and we talked about it. And then she'll come and take me out to another lunch. And then it was dinner. But each time I would open up more and more. And it was like, wow. And that's how it started, in a series of sessions, not on the couch, not like you see the traditional therapist. And it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
And I think that from my viewpoint, that healing path is different for every single one of us. And it's different for men than it is for women, but it's also individual, whatever your path is. And it's I'm so incredibly grateful that I actually am finding this out, but also sharing this, because I'm so grateful that you're sharing your journey, because, and your journey of healing as well. Like, writing is an amazing thing. And I think the arts in general, some people paint, some people write, some people definitely, like my brother, who there was things that he will probably never talk about that happened. And we had an abusive mother, very, very physically abusive as well as mentally. And she was an artist. And so she went through these high highs and low lows and these roller coasters that were just unbelievable in some respects. And so it put us in a lot of very toxic and very dangerous environments. And my brother, for him, he found music. And that is the art that has yanked him out of the deep, deep despair and, suicide attempts and destruction with drugs and alcohol and so many other things. So I know each of us finds a path, and I'm so excited. I loved Don. I used to do all shows every single Veterans Day and even July 4th and Memorial Day. And we do these huge celebrations for veterans. And one of the most powerful ones was I did one about healing our heroes, meaning, there are a lot of veterans that come back. And the toughest one I ever had was when we talked about the sexual trauma that both men and women had experienced while in service, in military service. And then we would turn a corner and I would hear about how they found different arts to heal themselves. And ironically, of course, I was very familiar with music because I'd watched what it had done for my brother. And I've also was familiar with people who painted and stuff and would just spend lots of time alone doing these amazing, artist things of that nature. But then writing, oh my gosh, I think what you do, I think is one of the most powerful, incredible ways to help people heal. So let's talk about, you're also a coach. You help other people publish their books. Or do you help them write it or just publish or just get publicity, or which one of the three, or all three?
All three.
Yay!
But the most important one is the writing, because unless they have something on the page, they don't have anything to market and promote or to publish. So the first leg of it, I actually started a 30-day challenge because of Clubhouse. I would give a 30-second pitch of being a USA Today and Essence Magazine national bestselling author in different rooms. And they call me the book whisperer. So I'm the person that they come to when they're thinking about writing and publishing a book and help them to make it a reality. So when I would make that pitch in different rooms on Clubhouse, there were so many people that DM'd me and wanted to write their life stories. Now, my wheelhouse is normally fiction, romance, thrillers, and other genres. But it made me shift to helping those who write life stories. And there's so many of them. We met January, February. Their first books are coming out in June. They had never written before. So helping them through that process and putting them with book coaches. It wasn't just me. I pulled in some other national bestselling authors to become book coaches as well, to help the flow of so many people that came. And they probably only will write the one book. And there's some who moved up to writing fiction as well, because they've always had it in their heart. But the majority, they just only wanted to tell their story. So that challenge, 30 days, making sure that they were accountable every day in a Facebook group. They would have to type on a post every day. I handle my business today, or I'll do better tomorrow, or pray for me. So, and they did, and they finished. It was awesome.
Wow. That's beautiful. I just actually messaged you in your Facebook group, because I know it's a private group, and asked to join, because I love being around authors. I feel like it's such a healing path.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to be in the literary cafe.
Yeah. That's the one I just asked to join.
Okay.
So you'll see it.
I'll make sure I'm focused on here. So I didn't see it just yet.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Wait a minute. How did you do that?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm focused totally on you, and you're multitasking over there.
No, I did it right before we got on. I got it. Right
okay.
No, I'm 100% focused. When I do interviews, I am 100% all in. It's just the way I do it. But I did a whole bunch of research beforehand. And so I asked to join your group beforehand. And I was just so background for anyone who's listening to this, especially for those who listen to me for years on SiriusXM. One of my latest addictions is honestly Clubhouse. And you and I met through Clubhouse, which is very funny. Yay! And so you came into, on Thursdays, I host a room called the Yay Room. And I couldn't help it, the Yay Happy Mindset Room. And part of it was, I just wanted to do something that made us all laugh. And the first week I did it, I was like, okay, I've never done anything like this. And I was really feeling super awkward. And my brother came in and I said, how about if we just do something funny and we just tell stories about animals and pets that make us laugh? And so we did that. And then every single week it's been something different. And so you came in last week when we were doing laughing yoga and just celebrating what we were grateful for. And I mean, we were laughing and laughing and laughing. And I'm just so excited. Thank you for coming into my room. And I want to say thank you for coming into my life. Yay!
Oh, that was wonderful. I had a good time. That was so silly. It brought back like childhood stuff when you just open up and you continue to laugh because it became contagious. So it was good. It was good.
And that's what I think that, again, the healing process is really about, is us finding that childhood innocence again and kind of recovering how things that, like the smallest little thing when you were a kid would make you laugh or make you smile.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, true. That's true.
So I know you are also, with all of your books, you are a best-selling author, and you're also if I read right, was it USA Today? Can you tell us about what is your connection with the USA Today? Is that an award?
I'm also on the bestsellers list for USA Today.
Beautiful. Yay!
Thank you.
And also, you're a literary agent. So that's different than an author's coach, right?
Yes.
So when you describe those two different things, I know what they are, but many people will not.
So a book coach helps to walk through the process of holding you accountable, helping you with the process of writing the book, giving you the formula, setting your goals, helping you to reach those goals. The literary agent is the person that helps to find book deals with traditional publishing houses to actually publish the book and market and promote it. And I have a writing tribe that people go through my process first. They learn about editing. They learn about good cover design. Also, they learn about good, the foundation on all of their social media, because that's one of the places that acquisitions editors from a major publishing house, they check your social media. So you have to have it good and tight, as well as understand what the expectations are when you're getting a deal with a major. I've landed deals and people didn't make it through the proposal process. And that means they would have made it also through the writing process, because the rigors of writing for a major publishing house, if you're going with Harlequin, some of those do 2 to 3 books a year. So if your life is so chaotic and busy and you can't keep up, that is going to be a problem with the contract. So I've learned a lot in the process. So I send them through some rigors first to make sure that they are in line with everything that's needed to get that deal.
And I think that it's important to understand that it can be done, because I know that so often now people still have that idea that it can't be done. One of the things that I actually love about Clubhouse sometimes is just listening to people from all over the world, from South Africa, from England, from Ireland, from all over the place. I've met so many incredible people, and hearing them talk about their journey to success and falling down. And even the ones who, share about, well, this was brutal, the pandemic in 2020, 2021, we're turning a corner, but now it's still a challenge. But hearing that people have done it and that are still doing it right now is so inspirational. And it's one of the reasons I was so anxious to make sure that I didn't let you slip away before I got busy in all my chaos, because it's so important that people know that they can, number one, get a literary agent. Number two, that they can write, even if they've been curious, but they've had, a mindset that's making, that they're, coming up against a wall in that mindset and not being able to break through that. Some people call it the fear, terror barrier. So getting through that to even communicate and contact you and say, hey, I need a literary agent. Hey, I want to be part of your group. I want to coach. I want to do a 30-day challenge. All those kind of things. People often are really stuck in their mindset. And, as we met in my Clubhouse room, yay, mindset. What would you say to an author who's thinking about writing, but just kind of a little bit still coming up against that mindset barrier? They're not good enough, or they don't have something worthy of saying. It's been said by everybody else, and everybody else is more important than me. And I think that we need to break through that.
Wait. Okay, so there's the first thing. What do they do first? The first thing is I actually have free tips to get everyone started in the writing industry. If they go to my Instagram, the link in my bio takes them to the 4 free tips to get them started in the writing process, even if they've never written anything before. Additionally, they want to pick up a book called Bearing It All, The Ins and Outs of Publishing. And even people who have been published, they can click that link and it'll take them to marketing and promotion help. So no matter where that people are in their writing process, if they're just starting out, already published, if they want a literary agent, I have it all listed how they can go about that. In the link in my bio takes them to my Socio tab. And that kind of outlines everything, and then copy and paste it and just check that off and do those certain things. Now, the certain thing is about, well, it's already written before. It has, but not by you. Mm-hmm. I look at my book, Every Woman Needs a Wife, which is behind me. And infidelity has been done to death, but not the way that I wrote. Every Woman Needs a Wife is the story of a woman who walks in on the husband and the mistress and says, if you're going to cheat, I need to get something out of it. So the mistress needs to come home, clean my house, keep the kids, and put some money on the bills too.
Oh,
Now,
there you go.
I know, right? It had been written in other books, but not to the point where the mistress shows up to take the wife on her offer to teach the husband a lesson that infidelity will no longer come at the expense of the women's time, money, and happiness. And this is the book that put me on the map. Now, we've read infidelity in a lot of books, but not the way that I wrote it. So when people say, well, everything under the sun has been written, you're right, but not by you.
Right. And I love that you say that, because I'm actually just publishing in the next, I'm self-publishing, but I'm publishing a book on credit and, you know, all sorts of insider knowledge about how to really make your credit so that you're fundable, not so that you're not getting this ridiculous false score, because we get this false score and then we think, oh my gosh, we can get anything. We can buy a house, we can buy a car, we can not necessarily. And I had to take that advice is, I know, but I thought, but everybody has written a credit book. I don't need to write a credit book. And then I thought, you know what? It needs to come from my voice. And I'm not somebody who can sit down to a typewriter, which I would love for you to speak to. I had to actually, because I've been in front of a mic for so many years, I just sat in front of a mic and I just recorded my voice. And then I had to send it to an editor and, you know, go all through all the other steps.
That's what I would suggest. I record my books now because I also work a 9-to-5. I work at a law firm. And I don't necessarily want to sit in front of the computer for days on end or whatever, because I've already done it earlier in the day for someone else. So I use Dictate software that's available on Apple products, Apple devices. And that has been an absolute godsend, because most times I write longhand though. I write longhand, yellow tablet, blue ink, and then I'll record it. And there's sometimes a scene will come to me and I'll just close my eyes and just let it flow from that way.
Nice.
Look at your journal. Look at that.
This is mine. And it's sparkly, but I'm going to say, guess what? My little one that I write, because I do the same thing. I write longhand. I write my ideas longhand, but I also record a lot of things, just like what you said on my Apple device. And I do my just amazing little things. And I think it's really important that, again, we don't hold ourselves back from those creative impulses. Go ahead and go out there. Even if you're awkward or uncomfortable, just break on through and do it. So before we have to go, I know we're just about out of time. I wanted to ask you a little bit more. You have just so many different awards, and we didn't get enough time. So of course you have to come back and we'll do another session and really go a little bit deeper in some of this stuff. But you're a #1 Amazon bestseller, international bestseller. You have the USA award. You have, what is the CVS Hall of Fame?
That is my high school. I was nominated to the Hall of Fame. My high school is huge. We started off with 2,000 freshmen that year, and we ended up with 753 graduating seniors. There were 5,000 students in this school every school year. So it's a huge school. Started way in 30s, 40s. So it was an aviation school.
Where was it?
In Chicago. So CVS is Chicago Vocational School. And from there, that was one of very few people that have been nominated to their Hall of Fame. And that is going to forever be one of the best compliments or awards that I have been given. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was inducted into the Happiness Hall of Fame. And I could see that. And I know that, I have real estate awards. I have all sorts of other awards, radio from Sirius XM awards. I have all sorts of stuff. But I'll tell you, still the Happiness Hall of Fame was like the most beautiful. Dolly Parton is in there. Mother Teresa, Muhammad Ali. Like people are like, I'm like, what?
Happiness Hall of Fame.
I still love the fact that it's actually called the Happiness Hall of Fame. Anyway, I totally digress. And I know we're just about out of time. One thing I ask everyone at the very end of the episode is, so what do you do? And this can be for yourself or for others, but what do you do to create yays every day?
My yays have all been happening on Clubhouse, but for what I do outside of Clubhouse is, wow, it's always been everything literary. it's so, I would say my yay is connecting with my son. And our relationship is really very interesting. And now that, these interesting times exist, and he's in Houston and I'm in Chicago, and he has the cameras. So he kind of watches me and he types me these little notes. Mom, I see an awful lot of takeout coming in and no groceries. Or it was a time I thought I was being slick, and I came in because he wants me to be off the sugar, and I love sweet tea from McDonald's. Mm-hmm. So I didn't text him that I was walking into the house, and I normally do because he watches me make my progression in. And I said, so I know I have this in my hand. I'm not going to text him. I get a text about 2:00 in the morning. Lay off that sweet tea. Stop all that sugar. He had rewound the tape back to find out why, like a parent. Why didn't I text him on the way in?
Oh my God.
Who's the parent here?
I was going to say, that's the circle of life. You start out as a parent, then all of a sudden you end up having a parent as you get older.
But for me, getting rest and setting goals and making them, that is part of it too. But most of my life is centered around literary endeavors and helping other people live their dreams. But I've already lived my dream. There's only one accolade I would say that I'm missing is New York. I'm a contributor to a New York Times bestseller, but I don't have a bestseller under my belt yet. But
you will. Of course, that beautiful word "yet." So,
yay!
So again, to finish up, let's go ahead and tell people how can they get in touch with you, your social media, website, anything you want to share.
Okay, so I'm under my name. Everything is under my name. My Instagram is under Naleighna Kai, Facebook fan page, Twitter. Everything is under my name. BookBub, Amazon, author page. But I did want to make a clarification before we go. It isn't that we just record with that software. So anybody's looking into doing that. It transcribes the words as you talk. So I think I wanted to cycle back to make sure that people knew that. It's like, well, if you record it, I'm going to get it onto the page. Yeah. It puts it on the page for you as far as you copy and paste it after you record it, put it in Microsoft Word. So I just wanted to clarify that for anybody who's thinking about writing the book that way. And I do tell a lot of clients to do that because they don't think that, have that writing or that they have perfect English. The computer will translate and know that it's spelled this way and not that way or what you mean. And I love seeing it on the page where it corrects itself as it's across. I think that is so amazing that it's interpreting what you mean and what you say. So it's an awesome thing. But you can connect with me on my website, www.naleighnakai.com. But mostly, like I said, every platform I kept it simple and just use my name.
Well, thank you so much. I think you put so many yays in every day. And I'm going to have to say thanks for the Clubhouse app where we got to meet in my yay Clubhouse room. It's so much fun because as you were in there, we had people from Ireland, England, all over the world in there as well. I just think it is a very, very special place. So thank you for being on the show. And as we go out, I would love if you would lift your voice and say yay with me. 1, 2, 3. Yay!
Hi, I'm Jack Canfield. You may know me as the co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. And if you want more help in getting from where you are to where you want to be, I want to encourage you to listen to the Jennifer Hammond Show